Hi and welcome back to the Kids Sports Studio YouTube channel. Today we are going over my top 10 football teams for the 2021 college football season. If it's your first time here, if you like the video, consider dropping a like and hitting subscribe. If you're not new here and haven't subscribed, I would do that. Press that subscribe button and turn those notifications on so you can never miss a video by me and my friends made here. Very honorable mentions. These teams were really close to making my top 10, but barely missed it. So my number 11 is Auburn. They're a great team led by Bo Nix, but they play in the SEC East and West, and that division is super duper hard. Maybe the hardest division in college football. Then Wisconsin at 12. They have a great team, but they lose Jonathan Taylor, one of the best running backs in NCAA. And Jack Cohn will lead the team, but he'll need some magic if they want to make it into the playoffs. Texas A&M, great QB, but they're kind of like Auburn. They're stuck in the SEC, and it's really hard to win that division. And now to my top 10. Number 10 will be Notre Dame. They're a really good team, and Ian Book's back to tear up some ACC teams. Notre Dame had to join the ACC for the season, and the ACC has grown, and their teams have. They'll be really good, but I don't think they'll be able to beat Clemson. So they'll go 10-1. Their hardest match will be Clemson. Now at 9 is Georgia, who I think will go 6-2 with their conference-only record. They have a really hard conference schedule, and they have a stacked roster though. But other teams have it even more stacked. But their team could be a boom or bust this year with the QB battle between Jamie Newman and JT Daniels, both graduate transfers, Daniels from USC and Newman from Wake Forest. Now on to number 8. The Oregon Ducks. I think they'll do really good. They're coming off a very successful season, going to the Rose Bowl and beating Wisconsin in a really close game. But they do lose Justin Herbert and drop a little bit in the rankings. They'll still have a pretty good season. Their hardest games are USC and Arizona State. Now on to the LSU Tigers. They maybe had the best college football season in NCAA history, but they do lose much talent to the draft. For example, Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, and Patrick Queen. But they still come back strong with Miles Brennan and Jamar Chase. They won't drop too much. I think they'll go 7-1, and their hardest game and their only loss is against Alabama. Now at number 6 we have the Florida Gators. Coming off the 2019-20 season, Kyle Trask the starting QB looks really good with a pretty loaded roster. They're my team to win the SEC East, but I think they'll lose to Alabama in the SEC Championship. Their hardest regular season game will be the Alabama-Clemson Tide. Now at number 5, we have Lincoln Riley's Oklahoma Sooners. Oklahoma's coming back with a new threat at QB, Spencer Rattler, the first QB that Lincoln Riley personally recruited and didn't get off of transfer. That will start. Oklahoma has a great roster for this year and is my and the wide favorite for the Big Ten championship. The hardest 2 games is Oklahoma State and Iowa State, and I do believe they will lose one of those because usually every year they lose at least one game to a very good Big 12 team. Coming in at number 4, the first playoff spot, I think it would be Penn State. Penn State is being led this year by Sean Clifford and Pat Freiermuth, but they may go down because of the very recent opt-out of Micah Parsons, their projected first-round linebacker. Jason Owe will have to try and take the strings. James Franklin's team, if execute right, they may make it down to the playoffs for the first time under his coaching. Their hardest regular season game will most likely be against the Ohio State Buckeyes, which is always a very good rivalry game from recent years, as each battle it out in a usually around 5-point game. Now coming in at number 3, the next playoff spot, I think will be the Alabama-Clemson Tide. Alabama, the clear favorite to win the SEC West again by a possible long shot, led by Mac Jones this year and has weapons like Jalen Waddle and Devonta Swift. Their hardest game will still be LSU or Florida, which are very tough opponents to play against. Now coming in at number 2 will be Clemson. They're a really good team, but I think Ohio State gets the slight edge because they have a really good recruiting and pull 5 stars a lot. Though Trevor Lawrence, a Heisman favorite, and Travis Etienne leads a favorite for the national championship, though does have to play North Carolina and Notre Dame. Both teams supposed to be very good for this season. Now on to our number 1 team in the nation, Ohio State. Justin Fields coming back with his coach Ryan Day, who's been a very exciting coach for the year he's been head coach. He's created Justin Fields, not created, but made him extremely good, and he's made Chase Young amazing. Both players very good. He's made Jeff Okuda also, but we're focusing on this year. He has his starting QB in Justin Fields and has a stacked wide receiver and tight end roster. Justin Fields, the Heisman favorite, with Trevor Lawrence and Ohio State as maybe the national championship winner, but definitely a contender for it. Their hardest match will be versus Penn State or maybe against Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship, if there is one. Hope you liked this video. Don't forget, if you liked this, to drop a like and subscribe and turn on the post notifications so you never miss an awesome video for the Kids Football Studios channel. I'm Pizza Boy with 3 eyes. Disclaimer, this was made before the cancellation and postponement of the Pac-12 and Big Ten season.